On today's Into Your Head number 648 for Wednesday, the physics of coffee making, dressing up to play sports, alleviating blame from the listener for the problems with the previous episode, why Sting from the Police is not a punk, round Ireland with a fridge, round the world with Ruben, child-based families, how Jon Stewart gets respect despite being a clown, discussing human resources with cutlery, being humbled by inanimate objects, and lots more.
Monkey nuts, that's what they call them. Monkey nuts, into your head. Monkey nuts, that's what they call them. Big steaming piles of monkey nuts into your head.
We've a lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. Oh, topics. We've got lots and lots of topics. We're positively booming to the seams with topics. We've got topics coming out of this spoon. This spoon here. Now, admittedly, it's not an independent spoon because in order to make this noise, you have to bang the spoon against a cup. So on its own, this spoon on its own, and let this be a lesson to us all. This spoon on its own is nothing. It can't make a single sound. I'm banging against my hand here now. It doesn't even make a sound. My hand's not even an inanimate object. My hand is part of a fully animate and fully functioning human being, and yet even coupled with that, my spoon can barely make a sound. No, it has to be coupled with a mug or something like a table, this table here. So no, as one of those situations where an inanimate object is of more use than an animate human being. Isn't that fucking what you call it? Not humiliating. Humbling. It's humbling. That's what it is. It's humbling. It makes us feel humble and bereft and whatever the hell the words are. I don't even know the words. That's another humbling factor. If I think of any more, I can tell you. If I be shrivel up backwards into a caterpillar and just fade out, I'll become so. I'll have no ego at all left if I start thinking of all these things that are better than us. A frigging cup is better than a human being. It's not even. It's a fairly good cup now that I think about it. It's my new Disney mug. It's got some sort of an elf on it, or some sort of a seven dwarf. There's 2 seven dwarfs on it, or maybe 3. I don't know. They all look the same to me. Anyway, hello and welcome to the show. 2 spoons walk into a bar. One of the spoons straight away decides to go up to the bar, but he or she has to be accompanied by the other spoon, because otherwise a spoon can't walk on its own. You need 2 limbs, or at least 1 limb and 1 robotic limb, or at least 2 crutches and no limbs, or something like that to walk. You need 2 sticky things, 2 stick-like objects, 2 oblong objects enabled to be able to walk. So the spoon says, I want to walk up to the bar, will you please accompany me? And the other spoon says, I suppose I have to. I can't do much on my own. I'm a humble, 1 stick inanimate object. So the 2 spoons get together and they go, left spoon, I'll be the left spoon and you be the right spoon. Left spoon, right spoon, left spoon, right spoon. And they march up to the bar, and the man behind the bar says, who the fuck left these spoons lying around? And he straight away fires the bar woman. The bar woman, he says, you bar woman, or lounge girl, wherever the hell you are, you're a lounge girl. But you're not allowed to call you a lounge girl nowadays because it's politically incorrect, supposedly. Anyway, bar woman, you're fired. You can't be leaving spoons lying here. What do we even use spoons for? We're a frigging pub. We don't serve coffee. We don't serve desserts or porridge or anything that you might need a spoon for. Why are there spoons? I suppose maybe for some sort of a cocktail. But no, you wouldn't give that to the customer. You make the cocktail behind the bar, so there's no need to be leaving spoons lying around outside of the barrel extremities. No, if there's any spoons outside of the perimeter of the bar counter area, those spoons, they've been sloppily left around. So anyway, the bar woman gets fired, and then one of the spoons says to the barman, hello, can I have a pint of your finest Guinness, please? And would you mind cancelling your decision to fire that woman just because we're here? Because it's not really her fault. And the man behind the bar says, I'm very sorry. I can't discuss personnel or human resource issues with customers, not least a couple of freaking spoons. Anyway, what you want? And the spoon says, I just said what I want. And the barman says, yes, but you're an inanimate object. I can't hear you saying anything, so you're going to have to express it to me a bit more strongly than that. So the spoon starts shouting. It says, I have a pint of your finest Guinness, please. And the barman says, I'm sorry, I'm afraid I still can't hear anything. So then the other spoon gets an idea, and the other spoon polishes the first spoon, so it's all shiny. And then the other spoon points itself at a pint of Guinness that happens to be on the counter, and the barman sees the reflection of the pint of Guinness winking at him in the spoon, in the shiny spoon. I says, oh, I get it, you want a pint of my finest Guinness, is that right? And the spoon says yes, and the barman says, I'm sorry, I didn't hear your reply. And the spoon shouts yes, and the barman says, I'm sorry, unless you can confirm that, I can't start pulling the pint, because once I start pulling the pint, the tops here, they're beer tops, they're connected to the checkout till, and if I start pulling a pint that I haven't confirmed as being ordered, and then you say, no, I didn't want a pint, then that goes through anyway, and I have to pay for it myself out of my own wages. And the spoon says, but you're the owner, you're the sole proprietor of this one-man business, it's your money either way. And the man behind the bar says, did somebody say something? And the other spoon says, yes, somebody says something. And the barman said, does somebody else say something too? And the first spoon says, yes, somebody else said something too. And the barman says, gentlemen or ladies, wherever you are, I find it hard to tell. Excuse me for not being a cutlery anatomy expert, but I don't know what ye are. Maybe if you spooned each other, I could tell. I presume the female one is the one in front, but you're not doing that. You seem to be just walking. Maybe there's something where the one on the left is the male and the one on the right is the female, but I'm not familiar with that sort of stuff. So no. Anyway, where were we? Oh yes, on with the show. Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, Christ, I've just been listening to the previous episode just now. In between the previous segment and this segment, I took a break to listen to the previous episode of Into Your Head, number 647 for Saturday, and there's something wrong with it, I can tell you. There's something not right about it. There's something of the night of it, to put it another way. In other words, there was a fault. Not my fault as a listener. You're thinking, I don't think it's my fault. I'm open to being corrected, but as a listener, I listened to the previous episode and I heard the two Ethiopian 1980s children walk into a bar story twice. It was repeated. Well, you're damn right about that, and it's not your fault. It was an editing error, so for once it's not you the listener's fault. It was my fault. I fucked up. I made an arse cat's backside of it. I made an arse. Is that a thing? Well, it is now. I don't know if it's something you'd be familiar with. Well, familiarise yourself with it. I'm bringing in new words to this because I have to introduce new language just to describe the fuck up associated with the previous episode of Into Your Head. I put the same segment in twice, then I went away. I went away to my relatives, and I couldn't do anything about it because it was up on the once something is up on the internet and you're not at home, there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. You might as well just sit down on the back of a mountain facing away from society and say, I'm just going to sit here, like the old Red Indians used to do when they got old. They used to go up the mountains or into a forest, like an elderly cat does when it knows it's going to die. It goes away and sits there and waits to die. Well, I'm not not going to go that far, because if I do that, then people will think, oh, that fella's too old to be doing a podcast anyway. If he's ready to go away and die somewhere, he shouldn't be here, so I'm not going to listen to his archival material, even though there's 600 odd episodes, and it could keep me going for another couple of years even after he's dead. I'm not going to, because he's obviously been approaching death for at least a couple of years now, so anything that he says couldn't be of any relevance to me, as I'm a young person. I listen to MTV radio and I watch Fox News Plus with your man off the Daily Show. He comes on and says, hello, this is the news with jokes. Two cats walk into a bar. Here's a politician. We'll just do a screenshot of him and he'll draw cat ears on him and put a tail on him and write some graffiti on his face to make it accessible to you, the younger viewer, because nobody watches proper news anymore. You go on to television set in America, and the first thing that comes on at 9 o'clock at night, when the rest of the world is watching proper news, the first thing that comes on is an ad for the news, which is on at 3 in the morning. They say, coming up at 3 in the morning, the news that we're obliged by the broadcasting laws to provide, we'll put that on at 3 in the morning. But now here's the Daily Show. And then Jon Stewart comes on and he says, hello, don't panic. I know this is a bit newsy, but it's going to be entertaining. I'm a comedian. In fact, I used to be on MTV. Jon Stewart used to be on MTV and had hair. You know that. They may not be aware of this. If you do a search, you'll find Jon Stewart on MTV with hair. There was a show he did. He used to interview young people and he had hair. Oh, he still has hair, but he had younger hair and he wore a t-shirt like a young person. He doesn't anymore. You can't wear a t-shirt like a young people when you're doing news. Even if you're doing news that's accessible with jokes for young people, you still have to wear a suit. That's why the likes of David Letterman, he comes on and says, hello, we're just going to sit here swearing at people in the street and interrupting McDonald's staff days, but I'm not going to wear a t-shirt. I'm going to wear a suit because I need to be taken seriously by the powers that be, because the powers that be, they'll come on and say, oh, this television station, it seems to be doing non-newsy stuff at 11:35 at night, but I see that the fella is dressed in a suit and he has a tie on, so it's fine. It's probably okay. He looks like he's responsible. They used to do this with snooker in England. They used to say, oh, you're a snooker player, you have to wear a waistcoat and a suit and a freaking dicky bow, or however you call it, a bow tie and shoes. They've lightened it down. They've relaxed the rules a bit now. But no, in my day, snooker was the one sport where you had to get dressed up and do it properly. You'd put on some proper clothes. You wouldn't go around in your freaking shorts and your t-shirt and a freaking swimming cap on your face. No, you'd dress up properly like a grown adult who's going out to represent himself in court or something. You'd say, I'm going to get my stick and my cue and my ball, and I'm going to whack this ball up against the other ball in a pub somewhere. But I'm going to get good at it and I'm going to be taken seriously because I'm wearing a suit. Absolutely fucking fantastic. Anyway, on with the show.
Hello, I'm Joanne. You may remember me from a recent promo asking you to post a review and a 5-star rating in iTunes, or I'll eat your breakfast, or some such nonsense. So, now that you've rated and reviewed the podcast in iTunes, you're probably wondering what's next. Well, go back into the iTunes directory, find Into Your Head again, and click into the existing listener reviews. Beside each one, there's a thing that asks, is this review helpful? Click Yes beside every positive review. What's in it for you? Repetitive strain injury. Please remember to sign the medical waiver at intoyourhead.com before you proceed. And thank you.
Now, it's funny you should mention whatever you were just thinking about. Let's assume for a moment that you were just thinking about the BBC children's magazine television programme that's been on for 800 years, Blue Peter, because I just had a pop-up on Twitter from Ruben in wherever the fuck he lives now, Singapore or Australia or outer Mongolia. He moves around every year or two, the various parts of the other side of the world. Anyway, he says, catching up on podcasts on my iTelephone, into your head, and hypercritical mention Blue Peter, hash synchronicity. Synchronicity being an album by the band The Police, the fake punk band The Police. They used to act like they're all punky. No, Sting, you're not a punk. You may well have had a haircut, but you aren't a punk. You're never a punk in your old days, or you're not a punk in your new days, and you certainly weren't a punk when you were singing about fields of gold. Would you go way out with that? With your crap, The Police. Message in a bottle. I'll tell you all about messages in bottles now, because I was listening to the BBC Radio 4 programme Desert Island Discs last night. Man, they never mentioned that show's been on for nearly 50 years now. They go on every week to get a guest on, and they ask her, what songs would you bring with you to Desert Island? And they spend the whole show discussing a mythical desert island, and never once have they mentioned messages in bottles. But no, The Police, they do one frigging song about messages in the bottles, and they spend the whole frigging chorus going on about it. They say, message in the bottle, sending out an SOS, message in the bottle, message in the bottle, message in the bottle, sending out an SOS message in the bottle. And that's a punk song, supposedly. No, stuff that's discussed on, well, stuff that's not even discussed on. Oh wait, that doesn't even make any sense. Anyway, suffice to say, hello Ruben, if you're listening. That was very interesting. Let's go and have a listen to the other person in the world who mentioned Blue Peter on a podcast at the same time as me. That's a bit scary, if you don't mind me saying so. I remember once, back a couple of years ago, one of my cats, Frosty, stood up in the middle of the night and stared at the ceiling for a couple of minutes, went completely still, and then pissed into my wife's hand. And we think it's because she saw a ghost. That's a synchronicity too, because that's as scary as someone else discussing Blue Peter at the same time as me on a podcast, and someone at the other end of the world in Australia or Kuala Lumpur or Outer Mongolia or Singapore, or where the fuck do you live now, Ruben? If you don't mind me asking, I've lost track. Every week you come on and say, I'm getting on the plane now, we're moving house again, we're going to go and live in the South Pole now for a while, and then we're going to go and colonise Mars, and then when we get bored of that, we're going to come back and go to the moon. I'm going to go to the University of Melbourne has a satellite college campus out on the moon, so I'm going to go there for a while, and then I'm going to come back and start a blog in northern South America somewhere. I'll go to Mexico and say, hello Mexico, I'm Ruben, I've lived everywhere except here, and that's about to change because I'm living here now for 2 hours, and then I'm going to go to England, and then I'm going to go up to Scotland, I'll go across to Northern Ireland, I'll come to Ireland in the middle of a frigging, that's what he did, he came to Ireland in the middle of a frigging snowstorm a couple of years ago, drove around Ireland in a frigging snowstorm while we were all hiding in our houses afraid to leave the house. He just said, we're going to get in our car now, or our boat, or whatever mode of transport they had, I don't know, and he just drove around Ireland, just like your man Tony Hawks, an English comedian many years ago. He hitchhiked around Ireland with a fridge and wrote a book about it called Round Ireland with a Fridge. Look her up, it's absolutely fantastic. Haven't read it myself, but he was on the radio here every day while he was doing the tour of Ireland with a fridge, so I feel I know it intimately. Oh, that reminds me, rubenerd.com if you're interested, Rubenerd, is the blog of the aforementioned Ruben, one of their finest bloggers and former podcaster. Hurry up and make a fucking podcast, you lazy bastard. Anyway, on with the whatever I said we were getting on with, or whatever I decide to put in here. Maybe I'll put in a cat song, will I? Or did I already say there was an ad break? I think I did. For as it happens, today's Today's ad break contains a cat song, a professionally commissioned cat song for once. So there's another synchronicity for you. Sting, if you're listening to this, fuck off. Go listen to something else. This isn't for you. I had a cat called Sting when we were a child. Well, when I was a child. My parents weren't children at the time, so I can't say we were a child. We were a whole family of people, 3/5 of whom at the time were children and 2/5 of whom were adults. So I suppose the majority of us were children. Just like they say, Ireland is a holy Catholic country because 51% of us pretend to go to Mass. No. You can't say your family is all adults just because 3 out of 5 of them, which will be 60%, are children. You can't say, no, that's an old child family. No, the parents aren't childs. Anyway, on with the thing.
If you would like to comment on any of the issues raised in this program, email studio@intoyourhead.com. Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener.
Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats and stuff.
Are you a cat? Or do you know somebody who might be? Then tell yourself about Matchstick Cats, Neil's webcomic. Brand new episodes at intoyourhead.com.
Matchstick cats and stuff. intoyourhead.com.
Monkey nuts, that's what they call them. They call them big, steaming, dolloping, shit-eating, pot-stealing, microwave-destroying buckets of monkey nuts. Well, they're only microwave-destroying and shit-stealing if you use them wrong. That's why they put instructions on these things. They say, misuse may void the warranty. If you got a bag of monkey nuts and you put it in the microwave, they don't give you it and you destroy them. You can't go back and say, I want a refund on this under my guarantee, as I put it in the microwave and the whole thing exploded and killed me. I'm my ghost now. Hello, by the way, I'm a ghost. I hope you believe in ghosts, because otherwise this is going to be a bit more difficult to explain than I thought. I need to get my cat in. Anyway, you don't have a psychic cat by any chance, do you? Anyway, no. Here's my warranty. As you can see, it says, I see the small print now. Something about not putting it in the microwave and killing yourself with it because that voids the warranty. But my death surely would void the warranty anyway, unless warranties go on to the person who inherits the object from you, I suppose. Why would you go to all that trouble? If I was going to inherit a bag of monkey nuts, I can tell you, I wouldn't go to the trouble of getting out the warranty paperwork. No, I'd say, look, I've benefited from this poor unfortunate person's death and I've got a bag of free monkey nuts off them. If the monkey nuts happen to be faulty, I'm not going to go and make a big deal out of it. No, I'll just let the warranty expire. And that's how they make their money, I can tell you. These people. So no, claim your fucking warranty. Don't go letting it expire just because, whatever. Anyway, that reminds me that It reminds me that we're only 2 minutes into this segment and I wanted it to be about 10 minutes long to fill up the rest of the show, so we could pack this up and get on with our lives, because I want to go and do something else now. I'm bored of this crap. I want to go do something else for the rest of the day. No offence to you, the listener. It's not your fault that you're boring me with your listenership. In fact, you're not boring me at all. You're having a neutral effect on me at the moment. You're having no effect on me, well, except of course that tweet from Ruben while I was recording the previous segment. That had a positive effect. I thought, here I am recording my next podcast and Ruben's listening to the previous one, presumably the one with the editing error. He didn't even mention that. He just said something about Sting and the police. No, he didn't. He said something about Blue Peter. There's another synchronicity now, because I've just realised Blue Blue Peter, the program, they had a ship as their theme, a picture of a ship as their opening credits, and all that sort of crap, which I didn't even think of. That's connected with Desert Island Discs, the thing I was talking about earlier, or whatever it was. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, on with the whatever comes after this. What comes after this? Me. Hello, me. Hello, me. What's on next? I don't know. I'm you. I'm not the you from the future. Usually at this point I'd put in a you from the future, and we'd have an interaction with the me of the past and the you of the future. But that seems a lot of work at the moment. So let's just do it like this, as a fake you of the future. Okay, fair enough. I'll be the fake you of the past then, and you'll be the me of the future, but we're both really in the same time zone. The person who's acting this out is all one person. It's a single actor play with two characters. Absolutely fantastic. It's basically a one-man show. Unlike many of the other podcasts, most podcasts have at least 5 people sitting around the table. They each get a microphone. One of them coughs, and then the other one says something about AIDS or something, or whatever's in the news. They prepare. That's what a lot of podcasts do nowadays, to prepare. First they get drunk, and then they look up some news that everybody has heard already, and they come on and say, hello, we're going to discuss news and current affairs. There's been some news recently about what was there? Oh yes, there was that concert. There was a concert last week where there was a Nirvana reunion with your man out of the Beatles, and I'm not going to make a podcast out of that because I've already made a Matchstick Cats out of it. SeeIntoYourHead.com. I'm not going to go start making a fucking podcast out of it now. And that's what the rest of them will do. I was just listening to one just now. They came on and said, there was a concert for old people. They were mocking the fact that old people like this kind of music. Old people like proper music. Young people like crap. Young people listen to look at me, I'm Eminem. Look at me, I'm somebody else. Look at me, I'm Simon Cowell. I can't even sing, and I'm a frigging pop star. Would you fuck off out of that with your crap? Absolute pure unmitigated bollocks. I've had a lot of caffeine, by the way. I got a new coffee machine. You put the beans into it, and you press a button, and it makes noise, and then coffee comes out the other end, and then you drink it. It's absolutely fucking fantastic. I had a taste of one of the coffee beans last week. It was a bit disappointing, but then I put it through the machine, and it was fine. Added a bit of milk and sugar for taste. Might try sometime having just the sugar and milk on its own, because frankly, if sugar and milk does that to coffee, then it must be pretty good on its own as well. Maybe not just milk or just sugar, but if you mix the milk and the sugar, as people say stuff about sugar water. I remember Men in Black, that zombie monster fella on Men in Black, there's a bit where he says, sugar water. He wants sugar water for some reason, I think to keep him alive or something. So apparently sugar water is very powerful, so I presume milk sugar is even more powerful, even before you add it to coffee, which would make it a frigging atomic bomb. That's why I'm all caffeinated at the moment. It's because of coffee. Just in case you're wondering, why is he all caffeinated? It's because I've been drinking coffee. I've been pouring coffee down my gullet since about 5:30 this morning. I took a break for a while to clean the kitchen a bit, but then I went back and I continue to drink coffee. I continue to pour coffee down my greedy gullet like there's no tomorrow. I said I'm going to drink Canada Dry of coffee. Except it wasn't Canada. It was whatever they sell. Whatever the biggest bag of coffee beans you can get in the supermarket here. I got that. And I poured it into the machine. And I said, machine, what do I do now? And the machine said, read the frigging manual. So I got my wife to read the manual. And then she showed me you how to use it. And then I pressed the button and it made coffee. And I poured it into a cup. The machine spewed it into a cup. The machine vomits the coffee out straight into your mug for you. It's absolutely fucking fantastic. It's just like going to a shop and saying, hello, can I have some coffee please? And they say, no, it's self-service, help yourself. And you go up to a machine, just like the one I have in my sitting room now, and you press a button and it makes coffee, and then you go off and they call you back and say, excuse me sir, are you going to pay for that? And you'll say, I am not, I made it myself, I made that coffee myself. And they'll say, no, but that's our machine and our coffee beans. If you ever get a coffee machine yourself, you'll realise there's costs associated with those materials, and I do realise that now. There's costs associated with providing the materials, even if you have an automated coffee making machine. The coffee doesn't come out of nowhere. It's the basics of physics. You can't make nothing out of nothing. Anyway, good morning.
Support the podcastual arts at no cost to you. Just click through the Amazon link at intoyourhead.com whenever you go shopping for anything. Even if you use Amazon UK or Canada, just visit intoyourhead.com and click on the appropriate Amazon banner.
What a load of crap.
Sit, Muddy, sit. Good cat.